Hello, my name is Veronique Lawson, and this is my midterm presentation. Allow me to reiterate again what principle and element of design are. Principle of design are the fundamental rules that guide the arrangement and the structure of design element. And while elements are simply the basic block of the design. The list of principles are balance, contrast, emphasis, sorry, movement and rhythm, hierarchy, proportion or scale, pattern, unity, harmony, and variety. The list of elements are colors, form, line, shape, space, value, and texture. 20th century artists, well known. I have chosen two, Salvador Dali and Henri Cartier-Bresson. First, allow me to give you a little background. It's arguable that the 20th century witnesses the most eventful time in history of art. It was an era that was foreshadowing the 19th century. At the end of the 19th century, the modernism movement, or so-called the surrealism. And we don't need to ignore also that they brought up the Fauvism, the Cubism, the abstract expression that came to admit a great change across the globe. Some of the most influential modern and contemporary art movement and development of the century also included the pop art, the millennialism, the photorealism, and the conceptual art. And now, Salvador Dali was a Spanish printmaker, yes, born in 1904 and died in 1989. He was a Catalan master that actually was so gifted in graphic designing in his century. And he also actually painted the horse that I'm going to show you in a moment as a lithography that represents a surrealism and far beyond and belong to his collection called the Dalinian. Henri Cartier-Bresson was a French philosopher who was born in 1904 and he died in 2004. And he was the one actually who coined the term called the decisive movement. He also pioneered the genre of the street in the photography, and he came out to help establish the photojournalism as an art and form. So now allow me to show you now the two art that I picked. This one, those two pictures, I hope that is in the center of my phone, are the one for Salvador Dali. In the left, you have Mona Lisa of the printing of the editor printing of Mona Lisa, and then you also have the horse of labor on the other side. And so both actually were done into the art itself, and actually he also made it as a printed or a typography. And you have here, the next thing you have is those are the photography of Henri Cartier-Bresson. You have a staircase that showcase actually here. Maybe I have to go very close to like this so that you could see it better. The showcase here of more of the woman walking on the case and a lot of pigeon. And right here on the other side is the man riding the bicycle. Those two periods of his actually. Thank you. So the three elements that are in those in the four photography or in the four picture, whether it be the one for Dali or whether it be the one for Bresson, they have the element are color, lines, and then form. In color, they both mix a palette of color with shade of blue and yellow or orange or purple, lighter and darker on the same move prop. as two elements, as two colors side by side to set brighter color in the background of their artwork and set the darker color in the foreground of their artwork. The artist actually did that to why? Because they wanted to bring contrast to the opposing element that set the reflective of a achieving term of the composition. The lines were thin, thick, and curved line as used and as emphasis to express in the horse labor, to be able to maintain a space above, below, or even around, as seen in the staircase or as seen in the man who was riding the bicycle. Those two give the feeling of a good distribution or proportion in the whole composition. The form were used, they both use the form, the geometrically form, the two-dimension work with an illusion of a three-dimension finishing space of a flat level surface that will give actually the final image a no depth and a good proportional use of all area within the composition itself. Moreover, whether it be Dali again or whether it be Cartier-Bresson, both highlighted it well in creating the shadow, as you saw, the shadow of the focal point, a subject, and also capturing the spectrum of the tonality, whether it be the high tonality or the mid-tone tonality. In terms of the principle, the three principles that are founded also in these two pieces of art or four pieces of art, I may say, are emphasis, unity, and repetition. In emphasis, both artists actually also use contrast between the color and the scale of light in the composition, alternating the focal point interchangeably from the foreground to the background or vice versa. These were made to achieve using the rule of third and the different subject, like the pigeon, the sunrise on the horse of labor, the clock in the Mona Lisa, the war in the man riding the bicycle. In achieving a hierarchy, they also thus leading the viewer through the design the element in order of priority. So that's why I speak about a hierarchy, which is also used in this emphasis. Unity, the simplicity of line and shape and proximity, whether in the horse of labor or edited painting of Mona Lisa or the man in the pigeon, create a beautiful harmony, as well as the various colors used in the scheme denote coherence. Moreover, the proximity of element gives also a sense of belonging, as well as the transitional effect that was between them. The artist uses the principle to create a blend of harmony altogether in the whole composition. In other words, a sense of balance in their artwork. Repetition, they actually repeat the use of line, the use of shape, the use of form, the use of color in a certain way to imply the arrangement that they wanted to have the viewer see, or the client or the customer, to denote smooth movement in the rhythm and in their composition. Both do not those smooth movement, whether it be Dali or whether it be Cartier-Bresson. Talking about form or content, what was important in the works of Dali or what was important in the work of Cartier-Bresson. In Dali's artwork, form is important because it is the eye-catching that calls the viewer to want to consider to want to consider the content. That means the meaning or the impact of the work. The first impression that makes someone decide whether they will like the composition or not. And when we see in the edited painting of Mona Lisa and also in the Horse of Labor, then we see actually an eye catching. We see that Dali placed much emphasis on the form, not to withstand also that content didn't play much a role. I'm not saying that content didn't play much a role, but content also. But Dali placed much emphasis in the form. Cartier, on the other hand, placed more emphasis into it could be said so far that he placed more emphasis into the content. Why? Because photography actually is considered content. So which is created to engage or to inform the viewer. So thus focusing the eye catching on the visual of the form of the center or the focus of the photography itself. The form are captured in the view of the lens of the photo. So and making them to be seen everywhere. So we could say that Cartier-Bresson composition has as well the content, but also a form which is both equal in distribution in his painting or in his artwork. What will I say? Although form and content can be arguable that one is more important than the other, form and content cannot be disconnected because of the arrangement and of the impression they convey, as we see. Furthermore, form and content determine the element that contribute to the aesthetic or to the beauty of the whole art piece. And my source are adobe.com creative cloth for photography. I use also Magnum photography of Henri Cartier-Bresson, which is 3x www.magnumphotos.com, photographer Henri Cartier. And I also use the Wikimedia and Commons for all the art.